One day, Will Smith was passing by a school and saw a kid crying, and he said, "Never let someone say you can't do something." That kid was Albert Einstein. 𝗂𝘂𝗶𝘁𝗁 later describes this spider as being the size of a full-grown pizza. What's up, dudes? It's me, Myles, and I'm Acoustic, as you probably know. It's currently April, which is Autism Awareness Month, and honestly, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of awareness, bro. They've been aware, they know. Give us autism acceptance, or next year will be Autism Month of Vengeance. It's not a threat, it's a promise.
I am autism.
So, growing up, I was very ashamed of my autism because it was portrayed as something bad and illness, like, oh, he was trapped in an autistic body. My real child was inside of that cage, a prison of autism.
The jail of Benzie County has been a much kinder warden than the jail of autism has been.
Was simply something less desirable. The way we function is simply wrong because it's different. Don't get me wrong though, it comes with a variety of struggles depending on who you ask. To me, it can be a disability in a lot of situations, though it's mostly invisible to outsiders.
But if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late.
They become a YouTuber.
For example, I can't stand certain noises. It evokes intense distress that I can't describe to people who haven't experienced it. As you can imagine, this makes it difficult for me in situations that require focus around noises I found very, very, very unpleasant, which I've tried my best to hide throughout my life. However, there's so much more to autism than just our struggles. It's a whole different way of functioning, which actually comes with certain benefits under the right circumstances. That sounds cheesy, yeah, but it's true. That's why I thought of making a video talking a bit more about certain autistic traits that aren't as talked about. Some of them are for the most part harmless and just a bit silly. Others are actually useful and does in fact prove that we're superior to neurotypicals.
Knowledge.
//J, as the kids might say. Just so we're all on the same page, I'm not an expert, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an authority whatsoever when it comes to autism. I'm simply a boy. That's it. A boy. Thank you for hearing me out. No, but I'm just a boy with autism, a stupid one at that. That has nothing to do with my autism. I'm just multifaceted. What I am, however, is an expert on my own experience, which just so happens to be the one of many, 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 many autistic experiences. The way I see, experience and navigate the world is the only way I've ever known it, and not until it's pointed out will someone realize that their experience is any different unless they have something to compare it to. Usually they don't, because we all just assume that our normal is everyone's normal. This has led me to quite a few interesting interactions, and yeah.
I'm the Joker, baby!
One symptom that you might have heard of is face blindness, but I personally haven't heard enough people talk about their personal experience. To be completely honest, by the way, this isn't really something I've been officially diagnosed with or even talked to a professional about, mostly because it never came up, so I don't think they know. I've been aware of it for years, but I figured out ways to work around it, so it's not a huge problem, and I highly doubt anyone close to me knows unless I've already told them. Maybe they've seen me struggle because of it, but didn't realize just what was making me act that way, and instead assumed it was just social awkwardness. What's going on? Which is fair enough. As you might have already guessed, facial blindness makes it very difficult to recognize faces. It's kind of difficult to explain it because I honestly don't know what the hell is going on in my brain, and maybe it's something else I'm going to explain because I haven't gotten it confirmed that I 100% have it, but I think I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it. I can look at someone, recognize their eye color, the distance between their eyes, the nose shape, the lips and everything, but it's almost like I can't fully process their face into one picture, so the next time I see them I'm like, who the fuck are you? I can still recognize people by their hair and sometimes even specific facial feature if it stands out enough. Unfortunately, this means I need to be a little more familiar with someone before I start recognizing them, which makes it an absolute pain to deal with when you, for example, change schools or jobs. I know how to mask, but acting normal when you're talking to someone while not being sure who they are is so difficult. And I'm aware that I sometimes come off as extremely rude, but it's not my intentions. If we're standing in the same room, I'm probably not ignoring you because I don't like you, because I don't know how to interact properly. I do, I promise. But I simply don't know if I even know you to begin with.
I hate my fucking life! I hate myself so much! Why the fuck did I do that?
One time back in school, for example, I went to sit down with my good friends and I sat down next to this guy that would hang out with us. He wasn't wearing his glasses, which I used to identify him. I thought I sat down next to a stranger because all seats were taken. With him right next to me, I looked over at my friends and asked where he was when he sat right next to me. In hindsight, that is so rude and to some might come off as me just being petty. It sounds like something a mean girl from a movie would say and do, like, where is Y/N? Oh, they're right next to me. You're so insignificant that I didn't even notice you. Ha ha ha, you're nothing to me.
You're ugly, you are disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me $200.
That's not at all the case. I genuinely couldn't tell that it was you, and it's nothing personal at all. I'm so sorry to anyone I might have offended. I really didn't mean to, I'm just autistic.
I am autism.
You're stupid, leave me alone.
Muggen Mylle.
This also means that I'm not very friendly whenever I encounter someone I don't know too well, and more often than not, I won't acknowledge them until they acknowledge me first. It has nothing to do with me not wanting to talk to them. I actually want to. I simply don't know if I even know them to begin with, so I don't want to be like, what's up man, nice seeing you again, only for it to turn out we've never met. Like, that's also socially awkward. Like, there's no winning here. Before I even learned what the heck it was that was going on exactly, it always baffled me when people knew who I was. People I didn't recognize would know me by name and hold friendly conversations with me. Sometimes I wouldn't even be sure where they knew me from. I was under the assumption that my ability to recognize others was normal and thought that maybe I'm just that memorable. Maybe I'm just special, whether in a good way or not. That's probably not the case. Their ability to recognize me is normal. I'm the weirdo here, not the other way around. Something I only fairly recently learned is that autistic people, according to studies, are less illogical than their neurotypical counterparts, in the sense that cognitive biases don't cloud our judgment as easily.
Knowledge.
Again, I'm not an expert, so if you want this better explained, I'll link autismadvantage.com in the description. I'll really recommend that you go check it out because it's actually so interesting. Like, damn, our minds really do be different sometimes. That's so fascinating, honestly. As we all may know, humans aren't the most logical creatures. We're just not.
Facts. Logic.
Our thought process is influenced by a variety of things like emotions and groupthink. From what I understand, studies suggest we as in autistic people, look at things more objectively. Obviously there's more to it, but one of the things that I found interesting is that autistic people tend to be less affected by the framing effect. Meanwhile, a neurotypical's choice might be more influenced by how the information is worded rather than the information itself. For example, if a surgeon were to tell you the survival rates of a surgery, a positive framing would be, you have a 90% chance of surviving the operation, whereas a more negative framing would be you have a 10% chance of dying during the operation. The two statements are the exact equivalents, but the latter framing is perceived as more risky. I hope that I described that correctly and that it makes sense. Feel free to correct me in the comments. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm stupid, please don't look up to me. This is just something I read on a few websites 5 minutes ago. I don't want anyone to think I'm enlightened and here to teach all you peasants.
Hamburger.
Obviously, this is something that can be very useful actually, and what's extremely ironic is that the people researching this aren't immune to the framing bias. Instead of looking at the results and going, oh wow,
Autism is poggers.
they of course frame it as something negative, because of course they would when it comes to autistic people. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
Honestly, if I saw that damn thing in my living room, I'd stomp on it until it was a small brown stain.
Autistic symptom number 3. Homosexuality. Are you a homosexual? You might be shocked to find out you're actually autistic.
Today we are making Kermit the Frog drink the gay potion.
I'm kidding, but yeah, we're more likely to be part of the LGBTQ+, which is interesting, but not very surprising if you're autistic yourself. I could have made that assumption without reading some stupid article from like BuzzFeed, and I don't think they write about autism, but you get it. Fun fact, we're also less likely to be believed by our peers when coming out as LGBTQ+, because autistics' agency is often questioned, because people think we're big, stupid, overgrown children and will treat us as such. I've had people in the comments freaking out, begging me to look up the overlap of trans identities and autism. As soon as they find out I'm autistic, they're like,
Oh my god, no, please, look this up. You poor, poor child. You're being misled, you poor little thing. You stupid, stupid 21-year-old child. The trans agenda is grooming your stupid little child brain to irreversibly damage your body.
I've already researched that, thank you very much. And I've concluded that it's a load of horse. Kindly go
Toothbrush.
yourself. Go
Toothbrush.
yourself, Karen.
Calling the police! I am calling the police!
The overlap is an interesting finding, and I would love to talk more about it, but quite frankly, I'm scared. Yeah. I think neurotypicals are too rational to handle that information. The first time a practitioner brought up that autistic people are more likely to be queer, I just clenched my butt cheeks and thought, my brother in Christ who told this outsider our secrets. They're not supposed to know! If you take one group, people have been advocating to cure, that being autistics, and cross that with another group that they want to cure, that being LGBTQ+. Can you see how that kind of could cause a problem, right? Maybe, perhapsably. We don't know exactly what causes more autistics to identify as LGBTQ+, and to be honest, I don't know if I even want a full explanation, because I don't trust people enough to not try and get rid of us if they knew what was causing it, but I, and many others, believe it's because we're not as influenced by social expectations. It's definitely not something wrong with us that turns us gay and trans.
The gay potion. I feel like touching myself. Get out of here!
But we're more authentically ourselves, if that makes sense.
I look sexy?
What did you do to your face?
I put makeup on, oh my god!
Now, I don't believe that sexuality and gender is completely socialized, because if it was, then conversion therapy would actually work, which it doesn't, and it actually is just abuse. Please don't do it. But I still feel like more people would fall somewhere else on the spectrum of gender and sexuality if it wasn't for social pressure, and they might not even be aware of it. There's queer folks who were so deep in the closet that they didn't even know what it was that was off with them. I'd imagine that a lot more people would identify as bi or pan if they would have grown up without any outside influence. It doesn't have much to do with internalized homophobia, but it's rather our culture that doesn't make room for experimentation, you know? Someone who identifies as cishet and is in a happy monogamous relationship probably isn't bothered about the possibility that they might also be slightly attracted to the same sex. That's just what I think. You're free to give me your take in the comments below, or you could tell me when you discovered that you weren't cishet, whatever you feel like. I love reading comments, even if I don't respond to all of them. I really wish I had the energy to respond to all of you, but just know that I really appreciate whatever you type out. Also, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. My Ko-fi is still up if you want to support me financially. See you next time. Maybe I've even gone through surgery next time you hear from me. That's exciting. Bye!